Hello, and everyone. Thank you for joining me at the AntiCommunista channel, the opposing force, the equal and opposite force to the Antifascista movement. And I just want to talk about a serious threat that is going on in the world. That's not a joke. I'm kind of joking about it, but it's not really a joke. The fact that you have these Marxist organizations like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, Antifascist, that are essentially Marxist or revolutionary Marxist organizations in the spirit of Antonio Gramsci, the Italian revolutionary Marxist. The thing about these groups that you have to understand is that they are using Marxist revolutionary theory, which means that they aren't what they appear to be. They say that they care about social injustice, historical injustice, and they care about slavery, and they care about racial justice and all this stuff. But in reality, according to the Gramsciite Marxist revolutionary theory, these are just talking points. These are just things that they say. It's the Marxist revolutionary message. It's the Marxist revolutionary technique to pick out a country's historical injustices, to selectively pick out any nation that they want to take over. Any nation they want to take over, they select the most what they can use as historical injustices in that nation's history towards people or towards a certain section of the society, whether it be a certain racial group, religious group, sexual group, like homosexuals or whatever. And they just keep ramping it up and ramping it up and ramping it up. This historical injustice that makes the nation evil, in order to use it as a springboard and as a rallying point, to foment a lot of feelings of injustice and and create discontent in the population, even though the people that are living today may or may not be affected by these so-called historical injustices or negative aspects of a country's history. And it's all a ruse anyway. These revolutionary Marxist groups, they really don't care about this stuff. To be honest with you, it's just a technique. It's just a tool that they use to ramp up the emotion, to pit people against each other, to create these springboards and these rallying points in the nation's population, to eventually create civil unrest, to create a lot of animosity, to divide everyone up and get everyone at each other's throats. It's a way of dissolving your country, so that the Marxist-Leninists can take over. Is all it is. I mean, to be honest with you, it sounds horrible, but if you read the writings of Antonio Gramsci and his theories about, specifically the Long March and these Marxist theories of how to subvert and overthrow nations so that the Marxist-Leninists can control it. This is how it works. You pick out these historical, these points, these weaknesses in nations, whatever nation it is. It could be any nation on earth, and you just keep talking about it incessantly and ramping it up to create discontent. Even though, like I say, the people that are living in today's modern world may not even be affected by any of these things, but like, for example, slavery in the U.S. You've gone from what is de facto slavery to these vague ideas about so-called theoretical slavery or implied slavery or whatever, and it's a psychological game. They're psyching you out, and they're creating this in your mind. They're creating this stuff in your mind because they're using you They're using you to to get you all upset about this stuff that has absolutely no effect on your life. And if you didn't think about it ever a day in your life, then if no one had ever told you about it, you'd never even think twice about this kind of stuff, because it's all gone now. There is no slavery now, and there is these historical injustices from the past that supposedly have to be rectified are just the Marxist-Leninist way of getting inside your head and ruling your head, so that you get upset about this stuff, and then you hate a certain person or a certain group of people, and then it divides you all up and makes your country weak, and then it can create civil unrest, which will destroy the civil order of your society, so that they can eventually move in and take over. That's really how it works. I mean, as cold and calculating as that sounds, it's really how Marxist revolutionary theory works. It's a technique of picking these negative aspects of any country. Every country in the world has some sort of negative aspect to its history, where they've treated someone unfairly. Whether it be in the last generation or hundreds of years ago. Every nation on earth has some negative aspects to its history that Marxist-Leninists can go in and they can pick, and they can just keep talking about it and keep it in the public consciousness and keep it in the public square, and getting people upset about it and getting people emotional about it, like Black Lives Matter, or like Antifa, or anyone who's a radical leftist, and they just keep ramping it up and getting you all upset and getting whipped up into a frenzy about something that happened hundreds of years ago. And they're just using you, just manipulating you for their own purposes. They're just using you because the Marxists, the leftists, the leftist equals Marxist, essentially in this case, and in a lot of cases, they're just playing you, and people need to wake up, and you need to get out of this framework of getting all upset about these historical injustices and toppling statues. This has absolutely no effect on today, except in your mind, except in some theoretical, implied, vague sort of hypothetical sense, and they're just playing you. They're playing you like a violin to get you all upset over this stuff, and it just has nothing to do with your life today. It's nothing to do with the world today. And you should read Antonio Gramsci and Marxist revolutionary theory, which is, it just does this. This is how they take over nations. This is how they've taken over so many nations. This is the Bolshevik method. This is also the Bolshevik method of just getting and dividing everyone up and getting everyone at each other's throats. Based on whatever it could be, class warfare didn't work out, so for the Marxist-Leninists, so now they're trying everything else under the sun, racial conflicts, religious conflicts, any way that you can divide people up and get people at each other's throats, so that you create chaos in a nation, and they can swoop in and take control. This is the Marxist revolutionary method. I don't know. I'm probably just repeating myself at this point, but if you read Gramsci, and then and even Saul Alinsky, uses the specific techniques of how this is done. Saul Alinsky is later, but Gramsci, basically set the framework that we're dealing with today. In subverting nations and then creating civil disorder. And discontent in nations that were formerly peaceful, and were very proud of their countries, and then the Marxist-Leninists come in and they make you ashamed of your country and ashamed of your history by picking out the most negative aspects of your country's history, and then just harping on it over and over again, and every aspect of it from a million different angles, until you just think that your nation is the most wicked thing in the world, and you want to see it, and you either want to see it destroyed, or you don't care if it's destroyed, because you think it's evil anyway, and you think you deserve it. You think your nation deserves it. You think you deserve it. And that's the state of many countries, and that's how they get you, man. That's how they take over. That's how they subvert your country. That's how they subvert your government, your civil society, all of your institutions. That's how they damage all your institutions. That's the long march. That's the long march to destroy all your institutions, to how the Marxists take control of all your institutions. And that's how they do it. That's how BLM is doing it. That's how Antifa is doing it. That's how the left in general is doing it. That's how even some aspects of the right are doing it, that are just going along with it. And it's terrible to see, and it's all a deception. It's all a deception. These people don't care about slavery. They don't care about injustice. They don't care about these horrible things that happened in the past. They don't care about any of it. All they care about is Marxist-Leninist revolutionary control, subverting and taking over your country. And let me tell you something, once they're in control, you won't be speaking out against anything. You will do and say exactly as you're told, or you will be shot. That's how real Marxism is. And all these people, that are shouting about their rights and historical injustice and slavery and, all these other things that they're going on about, those people are going to be the first people to be marched right off into the camps, and they're going to disappear, because in a real Marxist-Leninist system, I mean, look at the USSR, look at China, Cambodia, Rwanda, name any one of them, Chile, perhaps, is another good example, Cuba. People that are fighting for this leftist cause, this utopian ideal that, historical injustice, I need my rights, this terrible things that happened in the past. And you think a Marxist-Leninist system is going to give you some rights? You think a Marxist-Leninist system, you're going to finally have the voice that you have been denied all these years? Well, you just wait until you're under a real Marxist-Leninist system where you damn well, you will shut up and you will say only what you're told to say, or only what you're allowed to say. Otherwise, you will disappear faster than a dirty shirt, So anyway, that's my point. That's my message. And that's my insight about kind of what's going on with regard to like BLM and Antifa and these international, sort of become international groups, and how they're just deceived. They're deceived, and they're deceiving you. These people are not about social justice. They're not about. They're just the frontmen for Marxist-Leninist revolution. And a lot of them don't know it. Some of them do know it. Obviously, the leaders, the higher ups, they know very well that this is just a ruse. They don't care about slavery. They don't care about historical injustice. This is a sales technique. This is something to sell you. This is the gift wrapping on the bomb inside. That's going to blow up your society and kill a lot of people. That's all it is. I mean, it's just a ruse. Marxist-Leninism is all about deception. It's political deception, like Vladimir, like Lenin said. And it's, I hope people find that out sooner rather than later, because once you're under that type of system, you won't be saying anything. You won't be speaking out against any historical injustice once you reach year zero and you have no history left, and you have commissars and bureaucrats telling you what to think and telling you what to do and telling you where to live and telling you what job you can do. You will not be speaking out against anything. Believe you me. Anyway, so that's my message on the current state of the world, and people, please you need to wake up. This is not what it appears to be. These people that are fighting against all this historical injustice and all these negative aspects of your history, they don't care about any of that stuff. Okay, to be honest with you, this is just a ruse. It's a Marxist-Leninist ruse. Please get it through your head. It's not what it appears to be. And these people, the only thing they care about is taking over your country, overthrowing your established order, overthrowing your civil society and taking it over. And that's the honest truth. Read Antonio Gramsci. Everyone should read it. Read his works and figure out the truth for yourself. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. This is the AntiCommunista channel, the antidote for Antifa and BLM, among others on the left. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.